What's up, y'all, man? This is a response vid to Fannon International Boxing. He has a pretty good channel. Go check his channel out. They have a new I guess they have a new thing where they talk him and Blood and a couple other gentlemen talk boxing. They go back and forth talking about different aspects of boxing. I listened to their last podcast or their last video talking about Clarissa Shields. They were breaking that down, giving their thoughts on that, and they were talking about welterweights, past, future, and present. So go check out the channel. This is a response vid to Fannon International. He said something about they were on the what's happening in the welterweight division, and when his segment came up, he talked about no he talked about Triple G, the Triple G fight versus Devintenko, and he gave his thoughts on it, and he said that he thought Devintenko won the fight. I think he said he clearly won the fight. Ironically, it was another close fight with someone getting knocked down. Triple G got the knockdown. He said he thought clearly that Devintenko won the fight, and he was giving his thoughts on why he thought he won the fight. The same points where I thought that I gave Sean Porter the fight over Earl Spence. Nevertheless, he said that Triple G, every time Triple G stepped up, he not lost, but all his step-up fights were real close. He said versus Danny Jacobs, it was close. Versus the two fights versus Canelo, it was close. The fight versus Carol Brook was close until he knocked him out. And now he said the fight versus Devinchenko was close. Now, I agree that he had some close fights, but he prevailed in the Danny Jacobs fight. He knocked out Carol Brook, and he had two close fights with Canelo, which I thought he won both of the fights, but black and white, he lost. To me, he was describing Earl Spence. To me, he described, while he was describing Triple G, he described Earl Spence. Now, he said he can't wait till Triple G get knocked out. So I know he really don't like Triple G. Now, I'm not saying as a person, but as a fighter, because he said Triple G has too much hype. That's my issue with Earl Spence. Earl Spence has too much hype. And everything you said about Triple G is the same things that apply to Earl Spence. Ironically, even the fight that Earl Spence had versus Sean Porter describes the same, is in the same mode with the fight that Triple G just had against Devinchenko. A close fight where Triple G got the knockdown. Close fight, and it was a flash knockdown, because I think somebody on the panel said it was a flash knockdown, that to the point to was it should have been scored 10-9 instead of 10-8. Now, if that was a flash knockdown and Devinchenko was on his back, the knockdown versus Earl Spence should have been less than the flash knockdown, because all Sean Porter glove did was touch the ground. So, hey, I mean, it's ironic, but let's not let the facts get in the way of a good argument. Every time Earl Spence stepped up, Earl Spence had close fights. Now, his two step-up fights were Kell Brook and Sean Porter. I thought he lost the Sean Porter fight. He clearly beat Kell Brook. And just as you say that Triple G had trouble with Kell Brook, Earl Spence also had trouble with Kell Brook in the first 6 rounds. Now, Kell Brook gave Triple G a good 2 rounds, but the first 6 rounds, I had Kell Brook winning 4-2. So, and that's the same thing about him but Earl Spence stopped Kell Brook. I don't see nobody was worried about Spence struggling in the first half of Kell Brook fight, because why? Because he stopped Kell Brook. So why is everybody worried about Triple G having 2 subpar rounds versus Kell Brook? Well, where Kell Brook was fighting really well. And no one is talking about the fact that, and yeah, everybody talking about the fact that he struggled against Kell Brook for 2 rounds, but nobody's talking about when that he stopped Kell Brook on his stool. Nobody's talking about that. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I always say, when you don't like a person, or like a person as a fighter, I know you don't like him as a person, but as a fighter, you're not going to give him the same rope that you give another fighter that you like. because they had the same exact opponent. The same exact opponent gave both fighters some rounds to where, they were competitive rounds, but, Kell Brook gave Earl Spence. But you look at it different. You looking at both of those guys different, but the outcome was the same. You just looking at the fact that Triple G struggled versus Kell Brook, but you're not highlighting that he stopped him. You're not highlighting that because you said that last. In the Earl Spence fight versus Kell Brook, I vividly remember when I came on there and made a video and said that yes, he stopped Kell Brook, but he struggled mightily in that fight up into the knockout, into the stoppage. But nobody was talking about that. Everybody was just talking about the fact that he knocked him out, that he stopped him. And they both went to the UK and fought the guy. So Triple G went to the UK and fought. I don't know if he fought Kell Brook in Sheffield. I'm not sure of that. I think he did fight him in Sheffield. I'm not sure. But the same situation, but you see how they were talked about different. And let's go to both of the guys stepping up. Earl Spence, like I said, his 2 step-up fights with Sean Porter and Kell Brook. And he struggled in both of his step-up fights. Just like you said how Triple G struggled in all his step-up fights versus Danny Jacobs, Canelo, and Kell Brook. And let's get to the media hype. To a certain level, fighters do get overhyped. A lot of fighters get overhyped to a certain degree. A lot of fighters get overhyped. I can tell you that Earl Spence has been overhyped. Using the same parameter that you use for Triple G. You said if they put a softer opponent in front of Triple G will knock him over. Same thing for Earl Spence. If they put a soft fighter in front of Earl Spence, guess what he gonna do? He gonna knock him over. Chris Algieri, Bundu. What's that guy he fought in Dallas? But he struggled in his step-up fights. Kell Brook, up into the knockout. Sean Porter, which I thought he lost. But, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, black and white is the ultimate ruler, so he won that fight. But see, this is the thing I'm talking about these fighters not looked at the same. And people have rules to where they say, for nine, you have a standard to how you think a fighter is overhyped, but you're not using that same standard when it comes to Earl Spence, because Earl Spence is overhyped. Earl Spence, just like Triple G, struggled in his 2 main fights, his 2 step-up fights. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying that Triple G didn't have competitive fights with Danny Jacobs. I thought it was a competitive fight, but I had Triple G winning by 2 to 3 rounds. I thought it was a competitive fight in the 2 Canelo fights, but I had Triple G winning both of the fights. I thought it was a competitive fight versus Kell Brook, but he stopped the man, broke his orbital bone, just like Spence broke his other orbital bone. But these 2 fighters are looked at different. Why? I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea why they looked at different. They both had kind of like the same career path, except one was more successful in the Olympics than the other one. Triple G actually won a silver in the Olympics. And he actually fought beat Darrell in one of the Olympic rounds. Earl Spence went to the Olympics, I believe, twice. I don't think Earl Spence medaled in any of the Olympics that he went in. Now, people can correct me on that. I don't think he medaled in any one of them, gold, silver, or bronze. But yet the other guy is overhyped. And it was another thing they talked about on there about I know Fannon had another statement about the welterweights of today and of yesteryear. Now, they were saying, can they compete with the welterweights of yesteryear, these welterweights? And Fannon said it's simple, it's size. He says size matters. Because he's on that size thing when it comes to Crawford and Earl Spence. and I keep on saying that Crawford will be able to handle Errol Spence because Crawford is more skilled than Errol Spence. Skills. Crawford and Errol Spence are not that far apart as far as size and height. You have to look at range too. Range-wise with the arms and the way that Crawford moves in the ring, he's more rangier than Errol Spence. His feet are better than Errol Spence. His arms are longer than Errol Spence, so he's more rangier. But anyway, he said that those welterweights in the 2000s, late 90s, far as Trinidad, De La Hoya, you could put what's name in there. You could put the guy that got shot in Atlanta. What's his name? Vernon Forrest. What's another welterweight down there? There's some other welterweights, but as far as what Vernon Forrest, De La Hoya, and Trinidad goes, those are some big welterweights. Those guys are 5'10" and up. De La Hoya is 5'10", 5'11". Trinidad is 5'10", 5'11", almost 6 feet. Vernon Forrest was 5'11", almost 6 feet. Those three guys right there will be able to beat any welterweight today. Now, the two welterweights, De La Hoya will be able to beat Errol Spence. He will outbox Errol Spence. Despite what you think about De La Hoya can fight. De La Hoya will be able to beat Sean Porter. It'll be a nice fight, but he'll be able to beat Sean Porter. De La Hoya will be able to beat Danny Garcia. Mikey Garcia, if he'd have fought at 147, if he'd moved up at 147, he would have beat him. Now, the two people that I think that those welterweights of the past would have had trouble with will be Keith Thurman and Terrence Crawford because of the way they can move in the ring. Keith Thurman's power, he's explosive. He can fight off his back foot. He can fight coming forward. Terrence Crawford, skill level, fight coming forward, fight coming back. Boxing IQ on both of those guys is just as simply in their athletic ability, and they got good foot movement. So those two guys at welterweight will give those welterweights in the past trouble. Errol Spence and Trinidad. Errol Spence will not be able to walk Trinidad down. Trinidad has too much power. If you think Sean Porter hit him with hooks and right hands, what the hell you think that Trinidad gonna be able to do to him? More power. Big. Trinidad even fought at what? The highest Trinidad fought was 170 when he fought Roy Jones at a catchweight or something like that. Well, I know he was older, but he did settle in at 160. So I don't understand what you say size matter with him. Now, Mosley will have trouble with some of those tall welterweights or those big welterweights, but I even think Mosley will beat some of them. So, we just disagree on that. But what I'm saying is, no, size wouldn't matter. It'd be skills. It'd be skill level because all these guys are kind of close to each other as far as the weight and all that. You know what I'm saying? Mosley was a little shorter, but Mosley was, I believe Mosley was like 5'8", you know what I'm saying, himself. So to me, it wouldn't be size. I know the people that, see, they have to be hooked on Errol Spence's size versus Terrence Crawford because they know skill level. He's not messing with Terrence Crawford as far as skills. We all know that. You can look at the two fighters, and you can, if you know anything about boxing, and Fannon International, the guy knows about boxing, you can look at both of those guys and say, and that your eyes will tell you that Terrence Crawford is more skilled than Errol Spence. Period. So that's my response video to Fannon International. There's no beef or nothing like that. I don't people think it's beef. No, the guy got a good channel. The platform with him and Blood and the other two guys, I like their conversation. It's more measured conversation. It's more diverse conversation because boxing can have you talking in circles. Because that's just the nature of boxing. The fights are not happening. So it lends you to talk in circles. Boxing will make a liar out of you because when you think boxing is going one way, it goes the other way. So they had a good conversation. I enjoyed the conversation they had. But let me know what y'all think. I'm out.